Hello everyone. Along with me, we have MiniReview CEO and co-founder Sune Thorsen from Denmark, and we have Ealing NG from Aptoide. She's the BD director, and she's from China. So today, in this fireside chat, we will have a casual conversation about the importance of alternate app store for the discoverability of mobile games. So now a little bit about me. I am the CEO and founder of Gaming on Phone. So we have been doing this media for last 5 years, and now this is our new venture into the industry side, and we are hosting this inaugural Gaming on Phone conference. Now I'll let the other speakers introduce a bit about themselves, and then we will drive into the actual discussion topics. That is, I have already explained the importance of App Store, alternate app store for mobile game discovery.
Yes. Do you want to start, Ealing?
Yeah, it's okay. Well, my name is Ealing. I'm working for Aptoide as as the director of business development. And for the gaming industry, actually, I'm working for the industry for more than 15 years. And previously, I was the former overseas operation director at Nutties Games. This is one of the biggest game developer as well as publisher all over the world. And for myself, I have deeply involved into the game operation, game publishing, as well as esports tournament events. And at the same time, I have created one of the biggest online social voice platform, which is named Redcore. And now I just focus on helping the game developers as well as the game publishers to distribute the game on the alternative Android stores and help them to increase the revenue as well as the new user base. Yeah, that's me.
Nice. So I'm Sune. I'm the co-founder of a games discovery platform called MiniReview.io. We categorize and review mobile games and help our users discover them through different filters, like on a normal web shop. You could go in and say, I want a blue shirt in size medium. Basically that, just for mobile games. So it's all about discovery and community, with users creating their own user ratings as well. Previously to that, I have developed tools for game developers for the Unity game engine, and I've also worked on games marketing in general. So that was a bit about me.
All right. So now let's jump into the actual discussion. As you can already see, the App Store thing is always on the news, like with all the things Epic Games is doing. So many things happening, particularly in the Europe. So I think we will have a bit on pieces of those discussions inside it, or definitely will not be going deep, because definitely we can't speak on behalf of those companies like Apple or Google, but we can definitely talk about what we see as a consumer, or Ailing, as she handles the Aptoide business side, she can actually give insights much better than both me and Sune. So we'll see how this goes. But now, so let's move to our first question for this session. So, Ailing, you can take this one. What are your thoughts on the importance of diversifying distribution channels for the mobile game discovery?
Well, I would like to see that. That would be a really good question. And actually, last week, I had a business trip to Beijing and I met more than 20 game developers. And all of them are the top SLG game develops. Even, the Central Games, which they have the game title Whiteout Survival. And through the talking with the game developers, I just noticed that, first, of course, because of the economic, as well as for the whole gaming industry. Actually, the revenue generated globally has been decreased. This is fast, and at the same time, for the game developers, the cost for the user acquisition is getting higher and higher. For example, like in the Southeast Asia, usually the cost for the CPI is something like maybe $1, and now it's getting up to maybe $2 or even more. So that means the net profit for the game developers is getting less and less. And based on this situation, if we just take a look at the for the whole gaming ecosystem, we found out that they are changing rapidly for the recently for the Europe. I mean, the DMA requires Apple to allow the third-party stores to get on the iPhone as well as iPad, and this is still pending. And we saw there are some of the lawsuits for the Google Play with the
Mm.
other game developers. I mean, in the South Korea, and now people just noticed that actually under the situation with the net profits is getting less and the cost is getting higher, people are looking for the new channels for them
Yeah.
to acquire the new users with a lower cost and also help them to increase the revenue. So this is something like what they're looking for. And actually, I mean, for the situation in China, the game developers in the north as well as the game developers in the south, they are quite different. For the game developers in the north, actually they are quite careful about the partnership with the I mean the channels outside of Google Play and App Store because they are afraid that there are some policies from Google Play or App Store and which may affect their revenue. Whereas at the same time, I mean, for the game companies in the south of China, like the IGG, like the 439 Games, which has published the very famous game title Legend of Mushroom, and the monthly revenue is more than 50, maybe 59 million US dollars within just, I mean, 1 month. And they are quite open for the partnership with different distribution channels, not only for the alternative Android stores like Aptoide, and actually, I mean, Legend of Mushroom from 439 Games, they just released the game on Aptoide at the same time
Mm.
as on the Google Play and App Store. And the reason why they choose to do this is because the first notice the untapped traffic from the ordinary Android store, and at the same time, I mean, since for the Aptoide, they have integrated or partnered with more than 10 alternative Android stores. So it's very easy for the gamers to download the game, I mean, from anywhere, everywhere at the same time. And also, I mean, the revenue share is, I mean, is even lower compared with Google Play. And so this is the reason why they choose, I mean, the alternative Android stores. And regarding for that, according to my 20th online speech as well as offline speech as well as I mean the in-depth interviews, I just noticed that more and more game developers are paying more attention
Mm.
to I mean different distribution channels outside of Google Play and App Store. So this is trending, I mean, for the Chinese game developers.
Yeah, and I also, just to add to that, I see these new distribution channels, like just like you said, I see them as great ways to get discovered, also for maybe especially for small to medium sized studios as well,
Mhm.
not just the big studios, because every time a new tech, a new platform comes around, they always need content. Whether it be a new social media or a new app store, it's the same thing. They need content. In this case, games and apps. So as a game developer, you can fill that gap. So even though a third party app store might only have a fraction of the users that Google Play or the App Store has, the Apple App Store, you can get way more exposure on these new platforms if you're
Mhm.
one of the first to move in there and really dedicate yourself to those platforms. So that's one thing I think is really exciting, especially for small to
Mhm.
medium sized developers that might not be able to compete as much with the big studios on the paid user acquisition side, especially now, like you said, Ealing, now that user acquisition becomes so expensive. I think eh, there's a specific point in time over the next 2 years where I think indie
Mhm.
or at least small to medium sized studios have a unique opportunity here to get discovered.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be amazing. And
Yeah.
actually, I also would like to share, I mean, some data with you guys. As I just
Mhm.
mentioned, actually, I mean, for those kind of alternative Android stores, they have more than 500 million active users all over the world. This is a very big amount. This is
Mhm.
fast. And second, regarding for the how it's going on with the game develops for their performance on those kind of alternative Android stores, I can share the case study from Aptoide. Actually, for example, like Rose Mobile, this is one of the very famous SLG game,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
actually this game has generated more than 100 million US dollars on Aptoids after the
Wow.
game has been released. Yeah, and for Emily the King's Return from Top Games, Yeah, this is also an SLG game. Last year, they have generated more than 50 million US dollars within just 1 year. And regarding for the user base, then actually, like for example, like Lowe's Mobile, they have Aptoide has delivered more than 40 million downloads for this game. And for another game, another very famous mobile game, Mobile Legends Bam Bam from Mutong Games.
Hmm.
Actually, there are more than 2 million daily active users from the US as well as Europe are from Aptoids. So this is, I mean, this is the power of the alternative Android stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, since you mentioned like developers are putting their apps on various alternate channels other than Google Play or App Store. So how about you say like what are the main factors the developer should consider before putting up their games on these different platforms? Ealing, you can take this one. I mean, yeah,
Okay. I mean, allow me to share something from the perspective of the game developer first. Okay.
yeah,
Actually, for them to partner with the alternative Android stores, usually they'll be in the full installation. The first one is that, for example, the game has been launched for several years.
yeah,
I mean, Lowe's Mobile as an example. Actually, the game has been released maybe 6 years, and then they started to partner with Aptoide because at that moment they found out that the cost for the user acquisition is getting higher and higher. And the most important is that even though have the budget, but there is no place, there is no channels for them to increase the new users. So this is the reason why they come to the alternative Android stores like Aptoide, because the users at Aptoide haven't been outreached by them before, and also we can help them to increase the revenue. So this is the first one for the games which has been released for a few years, and there is no way for them to increase the new users through the big medias like Facebook, like Google, like TikTok, or maybe the other leading
Mhm.
DSP platforms, for example, like APP Loving, or maybe I mean the Moloko, or maybe Unity, or somehow. Yeah. And the second situation for them to partner with the alternative Android stores is I can take the example of Legend of Mushroom. Legend of Mushroom has been released on the beginning of March, and actually, I mean, they released the game at the same day. I mean, on both Aptoid, on both Google Play and App Store. And the reason why they decided to do this is because Aptoide has partnered with more than 10 stores, and also it has a user base of more than 350 million active users, mainly from the US and EU. So regarding for that, they're hoping, I mean, the game can be downloaded anywhere, everywhere, and they can promote the game, I mean, very easily. And at that moment, there is no need for them to, for example, to have maybe like 5 or maybe 10 different packages and email, I mean, take a lot of time for the technical team to prepare those packages. So this is the reason why they come to the alternative Android stores at the very beginning, even, I mean, at the same day for the official release. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Sune, you want to add anything
Good,
to?
good points. I think if you're so looking outside of what Aptoide offers, if we look at some of the um, new alternative app stores popping up, whether it be Epic Games, upcoming store, or whatever it is. There are many, many popping up these days. I think if you're like from a practical perspective as a developer, you probably have to choose a few of them to focus on. Unless of course you work with someone like Aptoide and they can help distribute on many platforms, which is a great service. I think it sounds like, but you have to focus on a few of them because they may have different requirements for the for the promotional art on their stores, for the texts on their stores. So just from a very practical standpoint, you should probably focus on a few of them. But no matter what, I think it's more options is great. So I think this is a good thing happening for the industry, both for developers and for gamers.
Yeah. So since you mentioned all these things, so let me ask you the next question. So, how do you think alternate app store foster the experimentation and innovation in the mobile games industry. So Sune, if
Mm.
you can take this one.
Yeah. I mean, exactly like I was about to say, these stores have to compete somehow. They have to compete
Yeah.
with Google Play and the App Store and the other third-party app stores out there. So that means they have to do something differently. It can be, business model experimentation, like Epic Games, charging less fees, but it can also be feature experimentation. I mean, discoverability experimentation, and so on and so on. These new smaller third-party app stores, they're hungry for users and developers, so I think they're more willing to try new things. Um, it can also, yeah, and that can also create new opportunities for game developers if you can start creating relationships with these new third-party app stores. Many of them, I think, in the early days, are also going to focus on editorial content. I know that you guys over at Aptoide, Ealing, I know that you create some editorial content as well. We post a lot of that on MiniReview as well, even though we are not a third-party app store. But all third-party app stores will have some editorial content, and I think the more niche the app store is, the more focused and relevant this editorial content can be. I know that Apple also have their, editors picks, or whatever it is they call
Yeah.
it, but I think we'll just see a lot more of that as these new app stores start to experiment. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that all of that are opportunities for game developers to reach more users, basically.
I mean, I personally think when there's a like top 10 or top 50, because Apple App Store, when I browse, so I get top 15 puzzle games, or let's say top 10 games for 90s kids or something like that. So
Yeah.
those are just another curated list of where you can feature your app or games to get some extra user attention, right?
Hmm.
So there are also some questions popping from the floor. So I think we will take them in between our conversation. So let me just take the first one that came from Alicia Chang. So she said that question is particularly for Ealing. So adding to your points, so she's saying, adding to your points, from a regulatory perspective, what are some of the potential implications of or considerations surrounding the proliferation of alternate app stores in the mobile gaming ecosystem?
Regarding for these parts, actually, there will be. I would like to see that. Of course, I mean there has been affected quite a lot about the regulatory. For example, as I just mentioned, like the DMA in the Europe, and
Yeah,
they request Apple, I mean, to allow the third-party stores to get on the iPhone as well as iPod on this March. But we all know that from the regulation
Mm.
until it comes to you, I guess there is a procedure and which may need to spend some time. So
yeah,
regarding for that, the good thing is like this. Now for both, I mean the Google Play and App Store, we saw there are some of the regulatories from different countries, from different governments, and they request it provides a much more it provides a much more, I mean, better environment to allow the third party stores to grow in. So this is also the reason why, I mean, during the past 2 years, especially, I mean, from 2021, 2022, and 2023 until now, the third party stores is getting bigger and bigger, and the third party store has played a very important role in the game distribution in
Hmm.
this, I mean, in this industry.
all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think we'll take one more question before going back to our regular
Mhm.
discussion. So this is from Madiha Gufran. So she's saying, "Hi panel members, what inspired you to uh, delve into the topic of alternate app store for the mobile games industry?" So I think,
I
yeah,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
can take.
I'll just go first. I just think very it's a very important step in fixing games discovery, getting these new alternative app stores. Now, I don't think it's the only way to help people discover games, but if I did, I would be developing a third-party app store. But I do think it's a very important step. So I've been, living in Europe, as we talked about the new rules coming out in Europe. Living in Europe, I'm just sitting here, with my hands in the air, and being happy about these regulatory changes. The reason why I chose to delve into this topic is simply because I believe it's going to help change the industry for the better. not so much for the main. This is my perspective. My guess is that it's not gonna impact the mainstream casual mobile gamer as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to continue using the official App Store and the official Google Play Store. But all the more niche audiences, or to use a different word, like core to hardcore gamers, I think those are definitely going to jump on some of these new app stores with the different advantages that they can get from using those stores.
I think China already has a lot of different app stores, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is TapTap, there is 3839, there are many other. I can't read Chinese, so I can't name them. But I once in a while I go to those app like stores to see what's coming, because it's a part of my day-to-day job process. So I think China has been doing this for a long time, I guess, and it's about time we'll be seeing more of this alternate app store for the rest of the globe. Now, coming back to our main discussion point. So, Ealing, so this is for you. I mean, you can take this one. What are the some common misconception or myths surrounding alternate app store, and how would you address them?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Regarding for that, actually, I would like to see that before I joined Aptoide, at the end of 2022, actually there is not so that much people know about the third-party Android stores.
Yeah,
And the reason is because we all know that, Google has been prohibited in China, and we have the OEM stores like Huawei, Xiaomi, as well as, uh, Oppo, Vivo. So usually, the game just get, if in the domestic Chinese markets, they just get the game, on iOS as well as those OEM stores, and the OEM stores charge them 50% of the revenue split. If they want to acquire more new users, they may need to spend the advertisement budget for extra. So this is the, ecosystem in the China.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, outside of China, in the global market, people are using the Google Play and App Store, and from maybe from the beginning of 2020, 2000 years or somehow. After Android operating system has been popular for all of the game developers, they just, only choose distribute the game to App Store and Google Play. They
Mm-hmm.
are the only, two choice. But whereas, at the same time, since, Google and Apple, they are charging something like 30% of the tax, and the commission fees, is so that higher. So a lot of the game developers is not satisfied with that, and they are fighting with Google, and they are fighting with Apple all the time. Like maybe in the global market, I
yeah,
guess, Epic Games is one of the really good example. And whereas for the Chinese game developers, like the Lilies, as well as Mihail, when they released the new game, Genshin Impact, as well
yeah.
as Rise of Kingdoms,
Rise of
they
Kingdom.
choose, yeah,
Yeah.
they choose don't distribute the game. In those kind of OEM stores in China, for our however, and in the global markets, as far as we know that the Mihail iOS, they have an official website for the users to do the recharge. And whereas,
Yes, yes.
when Apple noticed that, then Apple just, get the app off, and then they're doing maybe some compromise or somehow. But this is something like, how can I say that, a very good, a very good signal for people to notice that, hey, if you want to avoid the, how can I say that, if you want to reduce your cost, then actually the 30% of commission fees from Apple, as well as, Google Play, they still have some ways. Either they can partner with the third party payment channels to reduce the payment cost, or either they can partner with the alternative Android stores to reduce the cost. However, regarding for that industry, for the third party Android stores, this is something totally new for the game developers. So during the past 2 years, I'm doing the education here in China and tell people, how big is the market size? What kind of
Mm-hmm.
value the alternative Android stores created for you? And what kind of case studies they did before. So you can have a very clear idea about, if you partner with the alternative Android stores, what kind of benefits you can get. However, since they have no idea about that, so they may have some very common, how can I say that, very stereotype ideas about the alternative Android stores.
Yeah.
For example, they thought the ordinary Android stores have a very well building ecosystem, including the payment system, including how to acquire the new users very quickly. Because when they purchase the advertisement on the App Store or the Google Play, they can easily get something like maybe 100,000 new installs per day and increase their revenue to millions of dollars or maybe more than 10 millions of dollars. However, for the alternative Android stores, actually, I would like to say that except Aptoide, except one store and Amazon, for most of the alternative Android stores, they don't even have the payment system. They
Mm,
don't even have the wallets. So there is no way for the users to make the payment. This is fast. The
mm,
second is that for the advertisement system on the alternative Android stores, although we know some of them do have, for example, one store have the advertisement system, Amazon has the advertisement system. However, for Aptoide, we don't really have the advertisement system. So when the game developers come to us and tell us, hey, I would like to spend some budget and launch some CPI campaign on your app store, is this okay? But we don't really provide this. And regarding for the ecosystem for the alternative Android stores, I would like to see that it's still at the very beginning, and which may take some time to have the full ecosystem getting mature and mature, so the game developers can distribute the game on the alternative stores much more effectively and uh, and also, I mean, much easily.
mm.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So Sune, you want to add something to this? What she said?
Uh, Mostly just about the technologies part. If you allow me to move a little bit off the specific question, but like you were talking about technologies and that most of these third-party app stores don't even have the wallet option, like having a way for users to actually pay.
Mhm.
That's actually why when I look outside of just our traditional way of thinking about third-party app stores, I
Mhm.
think there'll be tools. We're already seeing these tools that can help developers sell and distribute directly from their own websites as well. And I
Mhm.
think that will grow pretty rapidly over the next maybe 5 to 6 years. And we've seen a few of them pop up already. I don't remember their names, but there are a few of these tech companies already popping up. They don't call themselves an app store because you don't necessarily go to their website or their app to discover games, but they just make the technology that allow you to distribute games. And I think the difficult part is getting people to start spending money, to enter their credit card details. That
Yeah,
is one
yeah,
of the reason that is one of the biggest reasons why distribution of games, PC games, mobile games, whatever it is,
yeah.
via websites have been very difficult. And the reason why everyone spends on Google Play and Steam on PC is that on Steam and on Google Play and on the App Store, your credit card details are saved and you trust these platforms. So if a third party technology popped up that would allow you to just embed a purchase form directly on your website, and then your credit card details would be safely stored not with the game developer but with this third party tool company. I think that could grow in popularity, and it would be a very cheap way for an easy way for game developers to own the entire acquisition journey. So you can run your ads on Facebook or TikTok or whatever you want, and then you drive people to your own website and you even distribute through your own website. We're not there
Mhm.
yet. We're not there yet, but
Yeah.
I think that is going to be really interesting for game
So
developers.
since you mentioned this credit card stuff, so what are your thoughts on the revenue sharing and monetization on the alternate app store? Sune, you
Well,
can
yeah,
start.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that they have to offer that. They have to be able to compete in terms of
Yeah.
features with Google Play and the App Store if they want to win. Epic Games, of course, is big enough to do this. It doesn't matter almost how expensive it is; they have the money for it. But I think these other app stores that want to try to, I'm talking about new app stores that are popping up right now. They
Yeah.
have to be able to offer that as well. Um, yeah, it's just the only way. Not only because in free to play games, you have to. Many games rely on Google Play's in-app purchase billing system, right? For example, and you have to have an alternative to that to offer to game developers if you're a third-party app store. But also just for premium games, of course, you need to be able to buy premium paid games on these stores.
So,
Mhm.
Ealing, you want to add something to what Sune said?
Yeah. Regarding for this topic, I would like to share an example.
Yeah.
Actually, for example, if your game, has been generated 10 million US dollars per month, if the game has been released on the Google Play, then actually Google will go ahead and charge 30%. That means 3 million US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you want to make your game, to generate more than 10 million US dollars per month, that means you're going to spend another 3 to 4 million US dollars for the advertisement.
Mm.
And regarding for the game developers, they are going to get the net profits like maybe 3 to 4 million US dollars. So this is the business model for Google Play. And
Yeah.
whereas if you partner with the game developer, if you partner with the alternative Android stores like Aptoide, then actually Aptoide share you with the revenue of 75%, and
Yeah.
Mm.
there is no cost for any advertisement. Aptoide deliver the paid high value users to the game developers directly. So that means, for example, on Aptoide, of course, they cannot generate, 10 million US dollars, but 5 million US dollars is something like, very easy to make it. And regarding for that, the game developers are going to get 3.75 million US dollars for the 75 revenue, and this is net profit for the game developers. So
Mm.
regarding for this business model, I guess for the game developers, it's very easy for them to calculate for that. And at the
Yeah.
same time, as we can see, the audience for the Google Play is the mainstream Android users, whereas for those kind of alternative Android stores, they will be focused much more on the long tail Android users. For example, like the third party Android stores, the OEMs, or even the career stores, which has been pre-installed in the telecom companies like Verizon and AT&T or whatever. And at the same time, for the users' pay abilities, if for Aptoids, then actually for most of game developers, they told us like this: the ROI for the users on Aptoids is even better compared with the ROI on their iOS users, because the monthly ARPPU for the paid users is more than 240 US dollars on Aptoids.
Yeah.
So that will be the difference. For the alternative Android stores as well as Google Play.
Yeah. So we have plenty of questions from the audience, so we'll be taking that. So we don't have much time for. I mean, we are already running out of time for this chat, but quickly go to some of the questions that our audience has asked. Please be very brief. So the first one we will be taking. It's from Artemis. It's from Artemis. I will not just pronounce his surname. It's too hard for me to speak that. So, are there alternative app stores sell games via merchant of record, or how do these alternate distribute platforms work? So, Ealing, you can take this real quick.
Okay. Regarding yeah, regarding for that, it's something like this. Actually, as I just mentioned, for those kind of alternative Android stores, they have wallets. So regarding for that, the users can, for example, purchase the in-game items. Through the wallets provided by the alternative Android stores. And regarding for that, or maybe they can direct top up for the game. On the ordinary Android stores. So it's something like very easy to make this happen. And of course, except for those kind of ways to sell your games, as far as I know, there are also some kind of maybe which has nothing to do with this topic. There are some of the redeem code reseller in the offline. As far as I know, for example, like take PUBG Mobile from Tencent Games
Yeah,
as the example, the yearly revenue on Google Play and App Store is something like more than 20 million US dollars. And as far as I know, one of the redeem code partner sell more than 10 million US dollars redeem code
Wow.
in the packet. That means Tencent Games are going to generate 50
yeah,
50% extra revenue through the redeem code reseller. So this is also kind of way for them to increase the revenue. By different kind of network. Either the online or maybe either the offline.
Mm.
Yeah, so we'll be taking one last question since we are already 5 minutes. So we'll take this one from Saak Mitra. So yeah, Sune, you can take this one. What are your thoughts on the Microsoft's CEO promising an Xbox mobile store in the future?
um, I think that would be great. Those are my thoughts on that. No, I mean it's Epic Games moving in, Microsoft moving in. I think it's all good. I think this is sorely needed. We've needed this for a long
Yeah,
time, as you said, Ealing, especially here in the West. The US, Europe, and other regions here in the West. We've needed that for a long time, and I think they could. uh, Although, admittedly, Microsoft has failed to launch stores on PC very well,
yeah,
I do think they might stand a chance on mobile just because of how I think how hungry many developers are for more discoverability, and also from a gamer's perspective, if Microsoft can offer games um, uh, cheaper, or maybe there's some exclusive games. We have to remember that Microsoft owns a lot of game studios themselves. They could choose to distribute those games only through the Microsoft Store. Now, I don't really want that to happen, but I'm saying they're probably gonna do that. And I think ultimately, even though I might be a little sad that I have to go download their store to play one of the games, I do think it's good because it might create more innovation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the end of our question and discussion part. So because we are running out of time, like 6 minutes more we have
Yeah.
taken than the scheduled time. So once again, I thank everyone for joining us, particularly Sune and Ealing, and of course the audience who has been with us for the long time, like last 30 minutes, and sending us so many questions. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that we could not answer all of them, but we tried our best. So thank you guys for joining in, and you can move to the next session now.